The possibility of Harry and Meghan returning to the UK has been met with a shocked reaction in the camp of the Prince and Princess of Wales, writes Australian royal correspondent Daniela Elser. The Sussexes have not received an invitation to the King's birthday party this year, nor will there be a Christmas card from Charles and Prince William's family, despite all the insiders' claims that the royal family is inviting them and would love to see them, especially the King. Last month, a friend of the Sussexes appeared in the Sunday Times and revealed that the Prince Harry's family wanted to spend a vacation at Sandringham. It was an offer that His Majesty, for some reason, easily turned down. Last week, in testimony read out in court by his lawyer Shahid Fatima, Harry said, "The UK is my home. The UK is central to my children's heritage and I want them to feel at home to the same extent that they currently do in the United States." Thus the Duke has made it clear that he wants to return to the UK. And who will forbid him if he suddenly decides to fly to his homeland after all? Right now, the Sussexes' relationship with the royal family is the worst it's ever been. But they are still separated by a huge ocean. The only upside to this whole situation is that the Sussexes live 5,000 miles away. But how long will that distance last between the two opposing camps? Already there are articles in the media now and again that the grandfather king dreams of his grandchildren spending as much time as possible in Britain, Prince Harry's children, of course. Their arrival would thrill Charles. What if Harry, Meghan, the kids and their caravan of assistants, nannies and personal aromatherapists started spending more time in Britain? Well, imagine that situation. It would be a nightmare. A nightmare for Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace and everyone who works there. The Sussexes' strained, if not antagonistic, relationship with the British press could make the situation literally explosive. First, Harry and Meghan will be photographed, snapped and stalked everywhere, like a gazelle in the Serengeti. All the hype surrounding Harry, Meghan and their children will resemble a circus on the main royal stage. Who do you think everyone will be reading about? About the royals' diligent and ongoing efforts to reduce food waste, or the 47-picture gallery showing Meghan stepping out of a parked Range Rover in caramel cashmere for a 5-figure sum to pick up a bowl of Pret protein? The answer is obvious, the attention will turn towards Meghan Markle. As much as that's not wanted. And it's clear to everyone that the Duke and Duchess, while in Britain, are unlikely to agree to sit around the house unseen. The Duke of Sussex would particularly like to get involved in charity events, energetically supporting his patrons in the UK. And Meghan, considering she was a guest editor for Vogue, supported a cookbook and helped launch a charity clothing collection while pregnant and on maternity leave, imagine what she could do now, long freed from the clucking of courtiers and in real need of a PR boost. The Duke and Duchess would at best become a morbid distraction and at worst could become a permanent problem. They are a problem even now, but for now across the ocean, everything happens out of sight. Their antics can be ignored with a pucker of the lips. You can't do that on British soil. If Harry was sincere about his desire to return to Britain, the royal family is in for another series of crises in the year. Recently discovered palace records revealed that Queen Elizabeth desired for Prince Harry the effective protection that the monarch's grandson deserves by right of his high birth. This was revealed in letters between the Queen's personal assistant Sir Edward Young and Cabinet Secretary Mark Sedwill. The same Young, whom Harry accused of plotting against himself and Meghan to deprive them of royal privileges and security, wrote that ensuring the security of the Sussexes is of paramount importance to Her Majesty and her family and called it imperative. Relevant passages from the letters were read out in court, where Harry is litigating against the British government. Now Prince Harry continues to whine that he, his wife and children want to visit the UK more often, but are being denied that opportunity by denying them protection in the form of armed Scotland Yard officers. During the hearing, the lawyer read a message from the Montecitoc Duke. "It is with great sadness for both of us that my wife and I feel compelled to step down from this role and leave the country in 2020, Harry writes. The UK is my home. The UK is central to my children's inheritance and is where I want them to feel at home, just as it is where they currently live in the US. This cannot happen if it is not possible to keep them safe while they are on British soil. I cannot put my wife in that kind of danger and, given my life experience, I do not want to expose myself to unnecessary harm." Following these statements by Prince Harry, the royal family has become tense. It turns out that the troubled red-haired relative wants to be in England more often and, consequently, to be closer to the family inheritance with his wife and children. And a curious detail has also come to light. The royal expert Neil Sean has said without a shadow of irony that in the Sussex marriage there are only 3, Harry, Meghan and Mom Doria. The prince's mother-in-law is always by his side, both as an advisor and as Archie and Lilibeth's nanny. So when the couple visits the UK with their children, they will take her with them. And in this case, Doria will also need a royal guard formed by Scotland Yard policemen, especially when she goes for a walk with her grandchildren. It is already curious, in America she never went for a walk with them, but here she has to do it. Thus, in the British press appeared an information from an alleged friend of the king, who said that Charles would be delighted if Harry and his family were more often in the UK. But with a caveat, it seems that the king is the only one who wants to end his feud with his son, the others do not want to see the Sussex. A mutual friend of William and Kate revealed that the royal family is delighted that Prince Harry and his wife are hesitant to come to England. Each of the Windsors is minding their own business, undistracted by the drama with the Montesite couple, although the Sussexes also managed to annoy the monarch's relatives from across the ocean. The only good thing about this whole situation is that they live 5,000 miles away, says a friend of the Welsh. The royal family get sick to think they might come back here. Amid the racist scandal uproar, an outspoken critic of the Sussexes has also spoken out, former TV presenter Piers Morgan. The journalist suggested his own course of action for the Sussexes to try to apologize to the royal family. If he, Harry, wants his family and the country to ever forgive him, he could start by publicly apologizing for calling members of the royal family a bunch of racists and then pretending he didn't. Yeah, and then he'd give a bunch of interviews about how the royal family ignored his apology and refused to apologize in return. Well, we're looking forward to Spare -2. Subscribe to Channel News and support the article with a like.